First of all, that was a good football team. A lot of people won't believe that. I expect for those guys to do good things this year. Their tailback was really, really exceptional. Our defense played extremely well tonight, filling gaps and just not giving him a lot of space, but he really is a talented player. They're a tough football team as well. This is probably our most complete game that we've played here from an offense, defense, and special teams point of view, and they just caught us at the wrong time. It was high tide, and we were rocking and rolling out there. It was a very, very fine effort. I'm very proud of the young men, and we're getting ready to start our ACC conference run. Any questions?
Josh.
Dino, you guys had 4 interceptions all of last year. You have 5 through 2 games. Can you kind of maybe speak to how crucial interceptions are and turnovers specifically are to your defense and being successful?
You know, turnovers are everything. They're such momentum changers, and to have the ability to be where we're at right now and to keep it going would be obviously a very favorable situation for us. One of the things that I've noticed, especially in my 35th year of coaching, is that just how you compared last year and this year, normally you have opportunities for interceptions. It's just what's your percentages when the ball touches your hands of catching it. And someone says, oh, that guy doesn't have to catch, he's a DB. Well, if there is a DB that knows how to catch, it can be a huge weapon. And I think that Cisco has really, really good hands, obviously, and he's gotten his hands on some balls. Kylan has a lot of skill. He's on our hands team as well, and he's gotten his hands on some balls. And then Terrell Richards, I mean, the interception he made, that was as good as any reception any of our wide receivers have made all year. That could probably challenge Custis' one-hand catch for the best catch of the day. So they've really capitalized on their opportunity, and that's the part that excites me the most in that area.
Matt?
Dino, did the decision to keep Eric in longer this week, was that because of last week? Just because Western Michigan, obviously a more powerful team than Wagner is, but Dungey staying in until the third quarter today.
You know, the main thing is we're still working on the throwing game. We just felt like we needed to get 1 or 2 more series with him in there operating. It wasn't anything more than that. We were so good in the run and then a little deficient in the throwing game in the first game that we wanted to spend a little bit more time against other people's guys instead of doing it on practice, inside of our own practice against our own guys.
Second row.
So, Coach, obviously the defense, right here. Sorry. Obviously the defense and special teams did a great job putting the offense in position to score. There were 6 drives today where you started in Wagner's territory, but and you converted all 6 times. But when you started in your own territory, your own side of the field, the offense with Dungey leading was only 2 for 5 in scoring. Does that concern you at all? Or,
I would have to go back and look and see what the situations were, what plays we called. Again, and we're thinking about an entire game. Sometimes we just do things because we want to take a look at things. It have to depends on what the scores were. I have to go back and look at it. Sorry.
Mark and then Steven.
Coach, back here. Eric Dungey told us earlier this week that he reminded us of Stephen A. Smith that had talked about annihilating teams, and so he said they want to annihilate teams. And I just wondered how much you're happy to see your team kind of adopt that mindset in a game like this where they're expected to win.
Yeah, Stephen A. came and spoke to our guys during 2-a camps, and he uses really big words. So I was kind of lost in some of the conversations, but he was very, very entertaining. But he just talked about domination, and he talked about shared a lot of stories when he was with Philadelphia and working in the NBA and talking about the greats, Michael Jordan and LeBron, and just what they do to people, how they can make a really, really good player look bad, just where they can take it to. And I think the team's kind of taking that to heart. Now, whether that applies the rest of the season or not, we shall see, but they definitely did a really nice job today, I would say that.
Steven.
I know you're just kind of turning the corner here, but I'm sure everyone's had Florida State circled a little bit on the schedule in week 3. What kind of opportunity does that present for you guys coming in 2-0?
You know, I think we just did what everyone anticipated us doing. If we did anything different, then there would be all kind of articles being written. But we're at the spot where we're supposed to be. We're 2-0, and we got a conference game against a team that is one of the celebrated teams of our times, a team that has a fantastic tradition just like ourselves. A team that has maybe a little bit more tradition in the present than we have, but definitely a team that we're looking forward to play. And they're talented, they're skilled, and the coach, Willie Taggart's been here before with the University of Central Florida, and he got a win with their athletes, so I'm sure that they're going to be favored, and they're going to feel really good about coming in here and playing us here.
Do you think the way that last season ended, I was there, unfortunately got hurt at Florida State, that kind of season didn't go well after that. Do you think that game affects the way this team is looking ahead to that matchup?
I really don't. Just like us playing Clemson the first year and getting blown out 54-0, and the second year beating them. 1 year doesn't play a part in what's going on the next year. The players change. Some guys graduate. Some other guys are starting. Some guys aren't. Sometimes coaches change and philosophies change. So I don't think that really plays into it.
Matt and then Nico in the back.
You okay, Cisco? Okay.
Dino, a lot of guys stepped up at wide receiver today, just spreading the ball out a lot. What was the key from last week to this week in just diversifying the offense and seeing the ball spread out to so many different guys?
I think the biggest difference was the way they went about their practice during the week. I think there was an emphasis on the area, and there was a light. We put a light on some things, and we had some very black and white conversations with individuals to let them know that what the expectations are, and we can't settle. We won't settle for less than what we want out of those positions. And I thought that numerous guys at that position stepped up, trying to show us that they're capable of being the guy. And I'm really excited to go back and look at the tape and add up all the points and see where guys are at for next week.
Do you think that many guys will get snaps next week against FSU?
I can't hear you.
Do you think that many guys will get the amount of snaps against FSU that they got this week?
No, I don't think it'll be that many guys. No, sir.
Nico in the back.
Coach, back here, based on the improvement from last week to this week and what you've seen over the first couple of weeks, how do you feel going into this game with Florida State next week?
I feel like we got a chance. We've done some things. We've done some things defensively. We've done some things offensively. We've really been good in special teams. I can't put an emphasis on what that means to this football team when you're good on special teams. Someone said, well, you guys didn't, your yardage is really low. When you're winning on special team, your yardage is going to be low. You're going to be on short fields, like somebody said earlier. But the really cool thing about short fields is normally if you're on short fields, that means you have a lot of points. Because the longer and longer you go on the field, normally something happens, and something that happens is normally bad and not good. So I'm never going to complain about operating on a short field and not having a lot of yardage, especially when the points and the scoreboard looks the way it does.